Tiger II is the common name of a German heavy tank of the Second World War. The final official German designation was Panzerkampfwagen Tiger Ausf. B, often shortened to Tiger B. The ordnance inventory designation was Sd.Kfz. 182. It is also known under the informal name Königstiger, often semi-literally translated as the King Tiger or Royal Tiger by Allied soldiers. The Tiger II was the successor of the Tiger I, combining the latter's thick armor with the armor sloping used on the Panther medium tank. The tank weighed almost 70 metric tons, was protected by 100 to 180 mm of armor to the front, and was armed with the long-barreled 8.8 cm Kampfwagenkanone 43L/71 gun. The chassis was also the basis for the Jagdtiger turretless tank destroyer. The Tiger II was issued to heavy tank battalions of the Army in the Waffen-SS. It was first used in combat with S.H.P.Z. Abt. 503 during the Normandy campaign on July 11, 1944. On the Eastern Front, the first unit to be outfitted with Tiger IIs was the S.H.P.Z. Abt. 501, which by September 1, 1944 listed 25 Tiger IIs operational. Development of a heavy tank design had been initiated in 1937. The initial design contract was awarded to Henschel. Another contract followed in 1939, and was given to Porsche. Both prototype series used the same turret design from Krupp. The main differences were in the hull, transmission, suspension and automotive features. The Henschel version used a conventional hull design with sloped armor resembling the layout of the Panther tank. It had a rear-mounted engine and used 9 steel-tired overlapping road wheels per side with internal springing, mounted on transverse torsion bars, in a similar manner to the original Henschel design Tiger I. To simplify maintenance, however, as when the same steel-tired road wheels were used on later Tiger I hulls, the wheels were only overlapping rather than additionally interleaved as in the full Scotch-to-Laufwerk rubber-rimmed road wheel system of the early production versions of the Tiger I. The Porsche hull designs included a rear-mounted turret and a mid-mounted engine. The suspension was the same as on the Elephant tank destroyer. This had 6 road wheels per side mounted in paired bogies sprung with short longitudinal torsion bars that were integral to the wheel pair. This saved internal space and facilitated repairs. One Porsche version had a gasoline-electric drive, similar to a gasoline-electric hybrid but without a storage battery. 2 separate drivetrains in parallel, one per side of the tank, each consisting of a hybrid drivetrain. Gasoline engine, a Euro-electric generator, a Euro-electric motor, a Euro-drive sprocket. This method of propulsion had been attempted before on the Tiger and in some U.S. designs, but had never been put into production. The Porsche suspension was later used on a few of the later Jagdtiger tank destroyers. Another proposal was to use hydraulic drives. Dr. Porsche's unorthodox designs gathered little favor. Design. Henschel won the contract, and all Tiger IIs were produced by the firm. 2 turret designs were used in production vehicles. The initial design is often misleadingly called the Porsche turret due to the belief that it was designed by Porsche for their prototype. In fact, it was the initial Krupp design for both prototypes. This turret had a rounded front and steeply sloped sides, with a difficult-to-manufacture curved bulge on the turret's left side to accommodate the commander's cupola. 50 early turrets were mounted to Henschel's hull and used in action. The more common production turret, sometimes called the Henschel turret, was simplified with a significantly thicker flat face, no shot trap, and less steeply sloped sides, which prevented the need for a bulge for the commander's cupola. The turrets were designed to mount the 8.8 cm KWK-43L/71 gun. Combined with a Ru 9D monocular sight bilates, which all but a few early Tiger IIs used, it was a very accurate and deadly weapon. During practice, the estimated probability of a first-round hit on a 2 am high, 2.5 am wide target only dropped below 100% at ranges beyond 1000 am, to 95 euro 97% at 1500 meters and 85 euro 87% at 2000 am, depending on ammunition type. Recorded combat performance was lower, but still over 80% at 1000 am, in the 60s at 1500 am and the 40s at 2000 am. Penetration of armored plate inclined at 30 degrees was 202 and 132 am at 100 and 2000 am respectively for the Panzergranate 39/43 projectile, and 238 and 153 am for the PZGR 40/43 projectile between the same ranges. The Sprengranate 43 high-explosive round was available for soft targets, or the Hillgranate or Hilgeschos 39 round, which had 90 am penetration at any range, could be used as a dual-purpose munition against soft or armored targets. Power turret traverse was provided by the variable-speed Boehringer Sturm L4S hydraulic motor which was driven from the main engine by a secondary driveshaft. A high and a low-speed setting was available to the gunner via a lever on his right. The turret could be rotated 360 degrees in 60 seconds in low gear independent of engine RPM, in 19 seconds in high gear at idle engine speed, and within 10 seconds at the maximum allowable engine speed. The direction and speed of traverse was controlled by the gunner through pedals, or a control lever near his left arm. The system was smooth and accurate enough to be used for final gun laying without the gunner needing to use his traverse hand wheel for fine adjustments which was needed by most other tanks of the period. If power was lost, the turret could be slowly traversed by hand, assisted by the loader who had an additional wheel. Like all German tanks, it had a gasoline engine. In this case the same 700 picoseconds V12 Maybach IL 230 P30 which powered the much lighter Panther and Tiger I tanks. The Tiger II was underpowered, like many other heavy tanks of World War II, and consumed a lot of fuel, which was in short supply for the Germans. The transmission was the Maybach OLVAREG 4012-16 Model B, giving 8 forward gears and 4 reverse, which drove the steering gear. This was the Henschel L801, a double-radius design which proved susceptible to failure. Transverse torsion bar suspension supported the hull on 9 axles per side. Overlapped 800 mm diameter road wheels with rubber cushions and steel tires rode inside the tracks. Like the Tiger I, each tank was issued with 2 sets of tracks, a normal battle track, and a narrower transport version used during rail movement. The transport tracks reduced the overall width of the load and could be used to drive the tank short distances on firm ground. The crew were expected to change to normal battle tracks as soon as the tank was unloaded. Ground pressure was 0.76 a kilogram per centimeter 2. Command variant. The command variant of the Tiger II was designated Panzerkampfwagen Tiger Ausf. B. It had 2 versions, Sd.Kfz 267 and Sd.Kfz 268. These carried only 63 rounds of 8.8 cm ammunition to provide room to accommodate the extra radios and equipment, and had additional armor on the engine compartment. The Sd.Kfz 267 was to have used FUG-8 and FUG-5 radio sets, with the most notable external changes being a 2-meter-long rod antenna mounted on the turret roof and a stern antennæ, mounted on an insulated base which was protected by a large armored cylinder. This equipment was located on the rear decking in a position originally used for deep wading equipment. The Sd.Kfz 268 used FUG-7 and FUG-5 radios with a 2-meter rod antenna mounted on the turret roof and a 1.4-meter rod antenna mounted on the rear deck. Production. The Tiger II was developed late in the war and built in relatively small numbers, with 1,500 Tiger IIs being ordered, a slightly higher number than the 1,347 examples of the earlier Tiger I tanks actually produced but production of the Tiger II was severely disrupted by Allied bombing. Among others, 5 raids between September 22 and October 7, 1944 destroyed 95% of the floor area of the Henschel plant. It is estimated that this caused the loss in production of some 657 Tiger IIs. Only 492 units were produced, 1 in 1943, 379 in 1944, and 112 in 1945. Full production ran from mid-1944 to the end of the war. The Tiger II served as the basis for one production variant, the Jagdtiger casemate-style tank destroyer, and a proposed Grill 1730/42 self-propelled mount for heavy guns that never reached production. Proposed upgrades: a version of the Maybach Il-230 engine with fuel injection and uprated drivetrain was designed that would have increased the power to about 1,000 picoseconds. Henschel proposed using it for future production and fitting it to existing Tiger IIs, but the deteriorating situation meant the upgrade never left the drawing board. Other suggested improvements included a new main weapon, stabilized sights, stabilized main gun, automatic ammunition feed, a Zeiss stereoscopic rangefinder, heated crew compartment, stowage for an additional 12 rounds, and an overpressure and air filtration system to protect against poison gas, but these also never got beyond the proposal stage or did not enter production before the war ended. Specifications: gearbox, Maybach OLVAREG 4012-16B, radio, FUG 5, B fuel swage inversion, FUG 8, FUG 7, ammunition, 8.8 cm Euro 80 rounds, 86 rounds, usually 50% PZGR39/43 and 50% SPRGR43, sometimes with a limited number of PZGR40/43, or with the SPRGR replaced by HLGR PZGR39/43, PZGR40/43, SPRGR43, HLGR39. 7.92 mm a Euro up to 5,850 rounds. Gun sight, Tumtselfen Ru 9B/1 binocular to May 1944, then the 9D monocular. Operational history, organization. Apart from research, training, and a 5-tank attachment to the Panzer Lu, the Tiger II was only issued to heavy tank battalions of the German Army, or Waffen-SS. A standard battalion comprised 45 tanks. Units which used the Tiger II were as follows: here 501, 502, 503, 504, 505, 506, 507, 508, 509, 510, 511, SS, 501, 502, 503, reliability and mobility. There were two main mechanical reasons for the initial unreliability of the Tiger II, leaking seals and gaskets, and the overburdened drivetrain, which was originally intended for a lighter vehicle. The double radius steering gear was initially particularly prone to failure. Lack of crew training could amplify this problem. Drivers originally given only limited training on other tanks were often sent directly to operational units already on their way to the front. The Schweiz Panzer 80 Alung 501 arrived on the Eastern Front with only 8 out of 45 tanks operational. These faults were mostly due to drivetrain failures. The first 5 Tiger IIs delivered to the Panzer Lu division broke down before they could be used in combat, and were destroyed to prevent capture. These reliability issues were largely solved over time with the continuous introduction of modified seals, gaskets and drivetrain components, as well as improved driver training and sufficient maintenance. Statistics from December 15, 1944 show improved reliability: 72% of Panzer IVs, 80% of Tiger IIs and 61% of Panthers were operational by this period. Any remaining reliability issues were mostly due to the lack of lubricants and spare parts suffered by German forces at this point. Overall, the Tiger II was a formidable tank in spite of its problems. Its 8.8 cm armament could destroy any of the Allied armored fighting vehicles in service during the war far outside the effective ranges of their guns. Also, notwithstanding its initial reliability problems, the Tiger II was remarkably agile for such a heavy vehicle. Contemporary German records and testing results indicate that its tactical mobility was as good as or better than most German or Allied tanks. Combat history: the first combat use of the Tiger II was by the 1st Company of the 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion during the Battle of Normandy, opposing Operation Atlantic between TROARN and D Moville on July 18, 1944. Losses were: 2 from combat, plus the company commander's tank, which became irrecoverably trapped after falling into a bomb crater created during Operation Goodwood. On the Eastern Front, it was first used on August 12, 1944 by the 501st Heavy Panzer Battalion resisting the Lvova Euro-Sandomierz offensive. It attacked the Soviet bridgehead over the Vistula River near Barany W Sandomierski. On the road to Ogla, unregistered trademark Dow W, 3 Tiger IIs were destroyed in an ambush by a few T-34-85. Because these German tanks suffered ammunition explosions which caused many crew fatalities, main gun rounds were no longer allowed to be stowed within the turret, reducing capacity to 68. Up to 14 Tiger IIs of the 501st were lost in the area between 12 and 13 August to flanking ambushes by the Soviet T-34-85 and IS-2 tanks in inconvenient sandy terrain. On October 15, 1944, Tiger IIs of 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion played a crucial role during Operation Panzerfaust, supporting Otto Skorzny's troops in taking the Hungarian capital of Budapest, which ensured that the country remained with the Axis until the end of the war. The 503rd then took part in the Battle of Debrecen. The 503rd remained in the Hungarian theatre of operations for 166 days, during which it accounted for at least 121 Soviet tanks, 244 anti-tank guns and artillery pieces, 5 aircraft and a train. This was set against the loss of 25 Tiger IIs. 10 were knocked out by Soviet troops and burned out, 2 were sent back to Vienna for a factory overhaul, while 13 were blown up by their crews for various reasons, usually to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. Kurt Nispel, the highest-scoring tank ace of all time, also served with the 503rd, and was killed in action on April 29, 1945 in his Tiger II. The Tiger II was also present at the Ardennes Offensive of December 1944, the Soviet Vistula Euro-Oder and East Prussian offensives in January 1945, the German Lake Balaton Offensive in Hungary in March 1945, the Battle of the Silo Heights in April 1945, and the Battle of Berlin at the end of the war. The 103rd SS Heavy Panzer Battalion claimed approximately 500 kills in the period from January to April 1945 on the Eastern Front for the loss of 45 Tiger IIs. Gun and armor performance. The heavy armor and powerful long-range gun gave the Tiger II an advantage against all opposing Western Allied and Soviet tanks attempting to engage it from head-on. This was especially true on the Western Front, where, until the arrival of the few M26 Pershings in 1945, neither the British nor US forces had brought heavy tanks into service. Only the British QF 17-pounder gun using armor-piercing discarding sabot shot was theoretically capable of penetrating the front of the Tiger II's turret and nose at 1,100 and 1,200 respectively. As a result of its thick frontal armor, flanking maneuvers were most often used against the Tiger II to attempt a shot at the thinner side and rear armor, giving a tactical advantage to the Tiger II in most engagements. Moreover, the main armament of the Tiger II was capable of knocking out any Allied tank frontally at ranges exceeding 2.5 kilometers, beyond the effective range of Allied tank guns. Soviet wartime testing. During August 1944, a number of Tiger II tanks were captured by the Soviets near Sandomierz and were soon moved to their testing grounds at Kubinka. The Soviet team gave the opinion that the tests revealed the tanks to be severely defective. The transmission and suspension broke down very often and the engine was prone to overheating and consequential failure. Additionally, the Soviet opinion was of deficiencies in the armor after firing many anti-tank rounds at the same target. Not only did they report that the metal was of shoddy quality, but the welding was also, despite careful workmanship, extremely poor. As a result, even when shells did not penetrate the armor, there was often a large amount of spalling, and the armor plating could often crack at the welds when struck by multiple heavy shells, rendering the tank inoperable. They also claimed that their A-19 and BS-3 guns could penetrate the weld joints on the hull front at 500 m, and the turret front at 1,000 to 1,500 m. The Russian author later admitted the penetration of hull front joint was achieved after 3 to 4 shots. Surviving vehicles. The only working example is displayed at the Musée Copyright et des Blindes Copyright S, Sourma, France. It has the production turret and is accessible to the public. Other survivors include Bovington Tank Museum, Dorset, UK. Tiger II with early production turret is on display. This vehicle was the second soft steel prototype made and did not see active service. A production turret Tiger II is on loan from the Defence Academy, Shrivenham, UK. See below. Defence Academy of the United Kingdom, Shrivenham, UK. Tiger II. This vehicle was from SSPZ ABT 501, with hull number 280,093, turret number 104, and has a comprehensive coating of Zemerit. It was claimed by Sergeant Roberts of A Squadron, 23rd Hussars, 11th Armoured Division in a Sherman tank near Bivay, although it had already been disabled and abandoned by its crew following damage to its tracks in final drive. There is a photograph showing this vehicle after its final action in a beat field with its turret turned 90 degrees. This vehicle is currently on display at Bovington Tank Museum. The Wheatcroft Collection, Leicestershire, UK. A private collector, Kevin Wheatcroft is about to start a restoration rebuild of a complete Tiger II. The project will include parts from many individual Tiger IIs, but many parts will be of new manufacture. Wheatcroft has stated that he has €80% of the original parts needed for a reconstruction and more parts are sourced continuously. Known and shown parts are a complete front glacis plate, 8.8 cm KWK-43 main armament, engine deck plates, approximately one-third hull in one part, a set of tracks, and approximately two-thirds of the left side hull plate in two parts. The aim of the project is a complete Tiger II in running order. Mons-la-Jolie, France. A more or less complete, but wrecked, Tiger II is buried under Regional Road 913. Parts of the turret were recovered in a limited exploratory excavation in 2001. Further excavation is currently halted for financial reasons. There are plans to fully excavate and restore this Tiger II for a Vex in Battle memorial. Kubinka Tank Museum, Russia. Tiger II with turret number 002 captured at Ogla unregistered trademark Dow Cube W by the Red Army. The museum is open to the public with restrictions as the vehicle is located on the military base. December 44 Museum, L'Arglès, Belgium. A cosmetically restored Tiger II in an open-air location belonging to the December 44 Museum collections, accessible to the public. Hull number 280,273, built in October 1944. Turret number 213 from SSPZ ABT 501. This tank was abandoned in L'Arglès on December 24, 1944. The front part, about one-third, of the gun tube is restored with a Panther gun tube and muzzle brake. It also has restored mud guards. It is stripped of exterior and internal fittings and most of the torsion bars are broken, but it still has its gearbox and engine in place. Deutsches Panzermuseum, Munster, Germany. Tiger II displayed in interior location accessible to public on payment of entrance fee. Hull number 280,101. Turret number 121 from SSPZ ABT 501. Patton Museum of Cavalry and Armor, Fort Knox, United States. Tiger II. Hull number 280,243, built in September 1944. Turret number 332 from SSPZ ABT 501. Abandoned near Trois-Ponts, it was captured by the U.S. Army on December 24, 1944. The left side was cut open for educational purposes at the Aberdeen Proving Ground in the late 1940s. This tank left Fort Knox on December 14, 2010, en route to the proposed U.S. Army Armor Museum at Fort Benning, United States. Schweizerisches Militärkunstmuseum Full, Switzerland. This Tiger II was previously displayed in the Thun Tank Museum, and is now on loan to the Schweizerisches Militärkunstmuseum Full. It will be completely restored to running condition in a long-term project. This tank was given to Switzerland by France after the war. Hull number 280215 from S. HPZ Apt 506. See also, comparable tanks, IS-3 approximate Soviet equivalent, M26 Pershing approximate US equivalent, references. Notes. Bibliography. External links, information about the PZK-PFW Tiger AUSFB Tiger II at Panzerworld, Tiger II at the Armour site, Tiger II AUSF. Beobachtung Panzer. AFV database, Laglas Museums Tiger II, Tiger survivors Euro photos of surviving Tiger tanks, Panther, a redesigned Tiger, Sorma Musa copyright Des Blinder copyright S picture gallery, Tiger II at the bottom, Tigers in the Ardennes retrieved, March 4, 2010, photos and details of operational and captured Tiger IIs, A.